afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
How's it going?
Great.
My name is Jason. I'm the Career Center Manager here at Combined Transport. I see some familiar faces out here, but a couple that I don't know. So I like to usually start off with going around the room, introducing yourself, what you're doing for us, what division, where you're from, and I also like to know how you heard about us, if you're new. I know you're not new, so you don't need to fill that part. But I'll start. My name is Jason. Like I said, I run the Career Center here at Combined Transport. The Career Center is our recruiting department. It's also a place where you go if you want to buy our company merchandise. We have our company store there. Licensing and compliance is also there, so if you need licensing for your tractor, or if you need to update your med card or license, you would go to there. Luis is also there. Luis is our graphic artist, and he also does interviews for social media, so if you ever want to participate in one of those, you're welcome to do that as well. We call ourselves the Career Center rather than just recruiting, because we stick with you your entire career with the company, okay? The reason why we do that, and we don't just hand you off and forget about you, is because at Combined we have a lot of different lanes here, a lot of different options. We have reefer, we got flatbed, glass, heavy haul, multi-axle, wind, and then a lot of lanes in between those. So if you got hired on to do something today and you want to do something different tomorrow, not really tomorrow, but down the road, you would talk to your career coach and kind of find out what path you need to take to get to that spot, right? Tony, you've been glass and reefer with us, right? So you know what that's like, right? Switching. So you talk to your career coach and ask him how you go about doing that, right? You just do it on your own. Yeah. You just got picked out your own truck. Yeah. So anyway, that's why we're called career coaches, because we're here for your career, not just to bring you in and forget about you. Okay. And then you'll notice too that your career coach will actually be calling you periodically to check in to make sure everything is how we told you from the beginning. So. One thing that I pressure my career coaches to do is not lie, right? I don't want them to sugarcoat anything. Just be straight up. If it sounds good, great. I hope it works for you. If it's not what you like, that's fine too. We're not meant for everybody, but at least we don't waste anybody's time, right? Because if we lied to you to get you in the door, it's just going to cause problems for me later down the road, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want problems. We want happy careers. So what? You're my problem down there.
Right.
We're also a company with a low turnover. The industry average right now, last I read, was about 100% turnover for the average, which is ridiculous. I've even seen some companies where they're almost 200%. We're around the 50s, which to me is way too high still, but we are half the average, so I guess we have that going for us. My goal is to get us down below 35%. With COVID, last year, it made it a little more difficult. It was a little harder for some people to be on the road, want to be on the road. It was a really hard hiring year because of that as well. So that's why our turnover has suffered. But I'm confident that we will get it back down to 35 again. We're a company that has a lot of longevity. I was just looking at a couple of the guys earlier today, and we have guys here that have been here 25 years. That's a long time.
That's almost unheard of.
Very, especially in trucking, right?
Yeah, I was referring.
Especially trucking.
Yes.
Yeah. So 5 years is actually
5 years
high.
is even difficult.
But we have 25, 20, 15. We have a lot. Tony, how long have you been here?
6.5.
6.5 years. That's really good. And you're going to be here at least another 6.5 days.
At least days.
So we got a lot of good longevity here. And I credit that a lot to our culture, our pay, of course. Pay is important. That's why you work, right? And just how we operate as a company. We have a lot of opportunity here, and we have nice equipment too. Randy, you've been with us off and on for what, 18 years now?
18, 19 years.
19 years. I'm over 17 years now, so it's a good place to be. And we also promote longevity too. I don't cap longevity pay, because I don't want to put a 5-year cap on pay, right? Because to me that's telling you I'll expect you to be here 5 years, or I want you to be here 5 years. It's no, I want you to be here for the long haul, so I'm going to pay you to be here for the long haul. that's kind of us in a nutshell. I kind of went a little too far about me, so I'm gonna pass it on to you guys now. So would you like to start? Tell me your name and what you're gonna be doing.
Jonathan, I'm trying glass,
Okay. Where you live?
Northeast Georgia.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd you find us?
I saw some of the, I guess the wind division trucks.
Okay. That caught your eye?
I had to look them up on Google to find the name because they was like too small to read
Yeah.
going down the road.
Right on. So is that kind of like your end game then? Is you want to get into wind or it just caught your eye?
Probably trying like oversize and stuff like that once I actually, yeah, maybe.
Heavy haul?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like I said too, we're a company of growth, so we definitely promote from within. So if heavy haul is a goal of yours, we can definitely work with you on that and help you achieve it. All right, thanks. Yeah, let's go ahead and go.
My name is Anthony Cabalden. I'm in the Blackwell division. I was in glass for, 4 to 6 years I've been here.
You're a
Blackwell
coach, too?
twice, glass twice. I was also a coach, in glass. Reconstructive finger put me back in the Blackwell again, so it's kind of one of those things. But yeah, I've been here for 6 years and 6 years and 3 months now.
And you're about, how many miles you got?
600 and
90?
no, it's like 650,000, something like that. It's real close to. get
So you're
pushing-
over that halfway point to $1 million?
Yeah, and that's my goal is to. I mean, I've got over 2.5 million miles DOT accident-free miles altogether, but it's not at one company. So that's my goal here is to get my 1 million miles here. I mean, that's my personal goal. Everybody has their own personal thing. Would I love to go back into glass? Yeah, that was where my heart was. I love glass. But if I can't get it, I can't do it without having to have a roll top or anything. But yeah, they got all kinds of things you can do here. Like I could go into heavy haul maybe, or they got FAK, they got all kinds of stuff here. So yeah, it's a good company to work for. It's a good pays good. You can never complain about the pay. It's just like any other company. You're gonna have your slow times. You're gonna have your fast times. You're gonna have your ups and your downs. But for the most part, it's just like they say. It's not only the career center that calls you and checks up on you and sees how you're doing, but driver services does the same thing. So they'll call you up or see how you're doing every once in a while, your year to date or something like that. And, well, how have you liked it so far? Trying to be all cheery and everything. You're like, really? We just got off the phone arguing, and now you're gonna call me up being cheerful? No. but no, they're really good. And they help you out with everything that you need. I mean, if you run into any kind of problems, they're there to. This is the only company I've been with that have been there to help you resolve the problem and not go over it. You know what I mean? Not push you to the side and make you figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
So if you can give one piece of advice to the new people coming in, what would you say?
One piece of advice for glass. You're going into glass, right?
Yeah.
For glass, listen. Listen. Don't think that you know everything, because you don't. Listen. Do everything that you're told and do it the right way. Even when you get on your own truck, do it the same way you were taught in class at Fresno, and you will never go wrong. It will never let you down. Do it the same way all the time. That's all I say. Be consistent and do it the same way. For Blackwell drivers, just keep rolling. Don't keep saying, oh, I got a headache today, and oh, I got this going on, because it's not going to do you any good. Okay, it's not doing you any good. If you go down the road and you stop at every damn rest area, and then two days later you're calling up saying, hey, you're not giving me any miles. Well, that's because your ass is stopping all the time. You know what I mean? Just roll.
Yeah.
And take everything. Don't sit there and complain about loads. I mean, you're one load is always going to work into a better load.
Yeah.
If you just take the load and go with it, it's going to work out.
And if you do that habitually, you kind of sort of by default drop down to the bottom of the list,
No, and that's the one thing about this company that I've always noticed about here. You never drop down because should because you screw up, but you don't.
Well, it's
If you're-
about the normal
yeah,
standard.
if you're
in
there,
most of my career, for
What,
sure.
what it is here is when you're dispatched, it's a first come, first served dispatch.
Yes.
So in other words, if you got two drivers that are ahead of you that have delivered
First
in that
empty,
same
first
area,
load.
and you got another, and then you come in, those other two drivers are gonna get dealt with first. Now, one of them might be low on hours, and it might bump you up, you see what I'm saying? But I mean, like I said, just take everything and make sure your trailers are serviced. Make sure they're serviced, make sure the tires are on right, make sure everything is right for them. Do your pre-trips and your post-trip inspections. I mean, that is, I'm crying out for all those drivers to do that. I'm crying out for it right now. Because it is hell on us when we come out here after home time and we have to go pick up a different trailer and you find 2 or 3 lights out on it. You find out that the brakes are busted on it because somebody didn't wanna take the time to go to Love's and get it taken care of, or TA. So, please, take care of your trailer. There's a message they'll send you if it needs to be greased or serviced or something like that. They'll send you the messages. Just stop in like the trailer I got now. Instead of doing it here, I'll just stop in at Lowe's on my run. And because all it is a grease, all I have to do is get it greased, that's it.
Yeah, if
But do
everybody
it.
does their part, then there's not a problem.
Take care of your equipment, take care of your truck like it's your own. Just think of it as, this is my truck.
And
It says company name on it, but you live in it. It's your truck.
Right.
Take care of it.
It's your home. Little interjection on that, to me, the best reason, one of the best reasons for always doing that post-trip at the end of the day, instead of just going in, taking a pee and going to sleep, you can discover some big or even a small thing, like you got a couple running lights out up here, one of your brake lights is out. Now if I'm sitting in Love's or whatever at that point, if I'm lucky and they're not overcrowded, you know, they'll pull you into the shop sometimes as soon as you go in and say, hey man, oh yeah man, we got room right now, pull in. Next thing you know, an hour and a half maybe, whatever later, you're parked, you're sleeping, and when you wake up, you don't have to discover it
There's another
then.
thing too that Love's is starting to do for us now too. Love's, not only are they servicing our trucks, full service in our trucks, but they're also starting to full service our reefer trailers too now.
Oh,
They do
really?
have all the filters, they do have everything for the trailers and stuff, so they are fully doing our trailers.
They want the business.
Yeah, so with that being said, like you said, that's perfect. That's why we wanna do post-trip. We want you to be good to go when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, you wanna know, now sometimes, hey, they might, hey man, we can't get you until morning, so what's the first thing you do? Send a message, let people know, this is what's happening.
Yeah. But you still gotta do your pre-trip in the morning too, cause things could happen at night, but.
Absolutely.
But as long as you're taking care of it right then and there and you don't leave a trailer like Tony's saying
Ugh.
for the next person,
No.
that's the worst. You don't
Hate
wanna have
that.
Cause we will find out.
Even how you wanna
Right.
pick it up.
I do tell.
We will find
I'm a
out.
snitch.
Good.
I would too if I did something else like that.
It's not about it's not about snitching.
It's not about snitching,
No,
it's
it's
about
about-
taking care of our
It's about,
equipment.
it's about taking care of the equipment.
But it's not, but so what people are not understanding is, you're not only taking care of the equipment, you're taking care of the company. If you take care of the company is gonna take care of you. And all, how do you say, shit goes downhill? Everything goes to a point to where it's gonna come back and help you out in the long run. You just gotta do your part in it, that's it.
It's all about different parts. We all have different parts, but we all
Yeah,
have
and
different
I know
parts.
me, if I pick one up that has issues like that, I'm not gonna be a happy dude. I'm gonna be on the phone letting people know, and
Yep.
it'll wreck my day.
You just gotta always do the golden rule. How do you wanna pick up that trailer? Leave it that way.
Well, let's keep this going. So who wants to go next on the introduction?
My name is James Parks, I prefer to be called Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Yeah,
Okay.
Jimmy, other than Jim or James. What else do you need to know?
Where are you from?
Hermiston, Oregon has been my home base since like 2011, 12, somewhere in there,
Okay.
for the most part. Home base, cause I spend a lot of time driving.
Yeah.
I like to generally roll for about 3 months before I really take any real days off, just roll on the restarts or recaps, whatever I can do. So that's, for me, that's the way to make money.
Yes, ma'am.
Rather than if I'm taking days off every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
over the course of a year, I'm gonna make $10,000-12,000 less than what I would have in that year, maybe more. Right, so I'm in it, that's the reason I'm in it. I got about 5 more working years left in me, and I'm done, I'm retiring and.
Gotta
starting out
get as
the
many miles as you
Philippines.
can in the meantime, right?
Yeah, and I really just want one company for that time. And this company so far, don't have one complaint. I'm more impressed than I've been in my like 16 years of driving, and I've been through at least a dozen companies, I'm sure. Started at the bottom like everybody. I ended up with Landstar Ranger as owner operator, which was a pretty good gig. I made mad money on that job.
I'm sure.
And you're your own dispatcher. You create relationships with brokers. Landstar don't give you no load, they just, here's our broker list. And, once you create a good relationship with a couple of brokers, then you're good. They're always calling you if you communicate well, and they know they can count on you. But anyway.
So you're gonna be doing refrigerated with this?
Yes, I thought I wanted to do the glass at first, but my friend here, walked me through it. I had one-on-one time with him, and last week I felt too overwhelmed by all the new learning, all the new risks, extra danger, stuff like that. It just made me, like, each day I got a little more just stressed out on information overload. And, I thought I volunteered myself probably shortly before he was gonna tell me I'm not cut out for it. But, I just could feel that it wasn't for me, and so, I've driven a couple of reefers, but, I feel there's a lot less risk of things going south so easily and so quickly, and not as many.
Well, there's a big difference between reefer and flatbed. Obviously, the labor is the biggest difference, but
Yeah, that also. I don't feel like walking up on top of trailers
yeah.
and stacks of lumber and
But
stuff.
it's really your preference. I mean,
Yeah.
to some people, flatbed comes naturally, and that's easier for them, and other people, reefer's easier. I know reefer's probably more of a mental game, because you have a lot more planning involved, more picks and drops, tighter delivery schedules,
Yes.
24/7 driving, right? Not driving, but scheduling. So there's a little more mental game to it. Flatbed's a little more straightforward, but it is more physical.
Right,
You know,
which
so-
I'm pretty good at the other.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I've
it-
done most of my career.
Right, so it's really, it's up to the individual what path they wanna choose, and that's why we have all these different
I guess
options.
that's what made me so diverse, I guess, is because I mentally trained myself to do night driving, day driving, all that other stuff, so I can
Yeah.
jump from reefer to flatbed and didn't really bother me.
Yeah, I just feel more comfortable sticking with what I know.
Sure. And there's nothing wrong-
Especially, at this stage of my life,
Absolutely.
it don't make sense to go learn something new if I'm only planning on about 5 more years of actual working, right?
And Blackwell's a great company to work for, great.
I'm
division.
sure it
You
is.
can make good money doing it.
I'm
We're getting
sure
more and
I
more-
will.
Getting more and more, a lot more business too.
Yeah, there's a lot of business, and you live, I know you said you can stay out months at a time, but you.
I
live-
like to, yes.
So you live right on our damn path right there.
Yeah, you live in a great spot.
Yeah, well, the truth is, I've lived in trucks for many years. I have had one apartment in probably 13 years or so. And the only reason I had that, cause I was housing my niece and nephew after my sister got murdered. And they were young teenagers.
Yeah.
They were like 13, 15, or 13 and 17. And, I was out on road a lot. My nephew was a pretty trustable guy.
Yeah.
I made sure that, the company I was with, I came home, they'd route me through there like every couple of weeks so I could do a surprise drive-by. And then I'd always do my days off up there. And, yeah, I don't know where I'm going. That's kind of off subject.
That's fine. thank you for that. Last
Thank
but not
you.
least,
I'm Kelsey Edgen, I'm from Turlock, and I'm doing reefer.
and I know you took some time off.
I
So you're
did.
not new, but you
No.
are still kinda new, right?
Yeah, I'm still relatively new.
And.
You guys were super great about that. I don't see myself leaving this company unless I had to maybe do local. You guys don't go down to Central California or anything local, so.
Not yet. Never know.
Hey,
But
if
as
when
of
that
right
comes,
now-
but I'm just saying,
But
with
as of
how
right now,
great
we
you
do
guys
not.
were with, family problems coming up for me, you guys showed right from the beginning, cause I was still pretty new,
Yeah.
how wonderful and understanding as a company it is, and kinda made me a lifelong supporter of this company.
Good. You ready to get back in the truck?
Yeah, I've got one, there's a few things, they're getting ready on it, but, yeah.
Well, good. And, how did you hear about us originally, do you remember?
Yeah, I was just looking up companies, cause I wanted a different company than the ones I'd been with that weren't very, driver friendly, and they were very micromanaging. I was with, CRST, where I got my license. That was bad for me. It almost made me not wanna be a truck driver, and then, Night, which was okay, but where I was, it just wasn't the greatest.
Didn't work out too well?
But I like it, cause it was different for me, cause I didn't know anybody who was a truck driver. I
Yeah.
just one day decided, hey, I heard about this, I like driving, I heard you can make money doing this. This sounds like fun, let's try it.
There you go.
I think we all might have something like that in common.
Yeah. You definitely make money at it. Alright, well, thank you. Hey Dave, good timing.
Not really, everybody here already knows me, I already talked to him. this
Everybody
morning.
knows Dave?
Yeah, I talked to him this morning. Well,
Yeah,
so
but
what
now
is
you're on the
everybody-
microphone, so say what you gotta
No,
say.
they don't need to know me.
So, what I would like you, what I would like you to say, if you don't mind, is, I'll just do a reintroduction real quick. Where you work, what you do, but give some advice for working.
My name's David. I'm Driver Services is where I work. I'm a driver supervisor / driver advocate. I've been with this company for 2 years. I worked glass and I was also a glass coach. My advice is, own your mistakes. That's a very big part of it. And being safe. That's two big aspects that we try to encourage everybody to do. And communicate, there's the other one, there's 3 of them. Communication is key. If you're gonna be late, or if you have a problem, if we don't know about those things, we can't solve the problem before it occurs. And, we wanna try to solve all our problems before they get to a place where we can solve. So communication, safety, and, can't remember the other one I said now.
Long day.
Yeah, it's been a long day and it's gonna continue. So that's my little spiel. I wanna welcome you guys here. I welcomed him this morning. Welcome you back. I understand you're on leave. And, I hope you guys do really well.
Randy?
I was hoping to be invisible. My name's Randy. I'm the flatbed trainer, and I've had several jobs here combined over the course of since 1998. Been here a total of about 19 years, and I appreciate y'all's candor and talking about your careers and whatnot. It's a good thing to hear. Like David just said, safety. You don't get to 1,000,000 miles without being on your game every time you get behind that wheel. And so that's really what we can stress. So, but welcome, Jonathan. Look forward to working with you next week.
Yeah.
Alright. Do you have flatbed experience?
No, I don't.
This will be new for you? That's good. We get a lot of, not most, but I would say half maybe, drivers you get don't have any formal experience.
Yeah, the last year or so, yes.
And Randy's an excellent trainer, so he'll get you through it and you have a good experience. I mean, you did go through it. Did you feel like you had a good experience when you went through it?
Absolutely. absolutely, he's very concise. His instructions are very good. He physically does everything that you need to physically do for you, gives you an example, and then you go for it.
The thing I like about our training program is like Randy, for instance, and Earl. You guys have met Earl, right? When you did the backing evaluation?
I did.
Have you guys all done
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
So when Earl does his backing, he doesn't just show you how to back. He teaches you the mechanics of it, right? And so when you get into those situations that you haven't practiced yet, at least if you know the mechanics of it, you can figure it out,
I
right?
thought I knew how to back until I met Earl.
Right? I've heard that
Earl told me to get the hell out of the truck. Because one of the backing tips that he's got over there,
Yeah.
you gotta, it's almost like a course that you have to do
Yeah, yeah.
in order to pass his class.
Right.
And I was just watching how he was doing it, and I was standing out there watching, and I was still talking to everybody, you know, but he goes, okay, you such and such go in there, and they were pulling up doing this, and they weren't listening to what he was saying, you know, and I go, shit, I didn't do this, you know, and then I get in there and I do exactly what he did, you know, like, I mean, damn near to the tire marks, you know what I mean? He goes, get the hell out of my truck.
But yeah, but he teaches the mechanics, because we want to be able to set you up to where if you're in a situation you've never been in before,
Yeah.
you can figure out. And I think Randy does the same thing. You know, we call it Flatbed 101 for a reason, because we teach you the basics, we teach you the definitions, we teach you what the purpose is of the equipment.
And
So when you
that's
get yourself into a situation you've never been in before, if you know the basics, you can probably figure it out. And if you can't, you call Dave or maybe even Randy too, and they can walk you through it.
Rather than like with
See, and
most
that's what I did
companies
when I coached.
where they tell you like, okay, you're doing A, B to C, instead of doing that. With this company, they're like, okay, you're starting on A, so this is what you can do to get to C. So it's not like you do it exactly this way and you're gonna do it, cause it's not always the same out there.
Yeah.
Every back is different.
Yeah, you can't
You're not
teach every
gonna get a
scenario.
same one, and every other company, they wanna teach you, it's A, B, C. That's it.
It's just like in glass, when you're doing glass, if you get the basics down, do your basics first. Everybody has their own way of doing things and they learn how to do it, but if you learn it the basic way first, you're gonna always stick to that card. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
You stick to that card, then you can figure out other things here and there that can make it a little bit faster for you, a little bit this, a little bit easier, you know what I mean? And then you're not out there sweating like a stuck pig, you know, trying to
Like me.
catch your breath and shit, and about dying out there because now you've learned to pace yourself. You've learned to get your routine. You know, and I always tell everybody, put your hands on the damn glass. Put your hands on the glass. Touch
And we
it.
got Dave and Russ down there in Fresno that teach our glass,
And they're good.
they're great. Yeah, you're not gonna learn from anybody better. I mean, Russ has been doing it for 20 plus years, and Dave's been doing it for almost as long. So nobody knows glass better than those guys. So you're in great hands down there. And I mean, I might be a little biased, but I think we have the best trainers, bar none. So,
Why? That's because they keep trying to pull our trainers in other companies. So yeah, you know we have.
We got the best.
Even
So-
Wiley's been trying to do that stupid shit.
So, thanks for the introductions, everybody. Now I know I'll probably be a little redundant with tonight's talk because I'm sure you guys have heard a lot this week with orientation and training, and I'm sure Jim has talked about, making mistakes here at Combined, right? Everybody knows our rules with making mistakes. You guys heard all that, right?
Yeah.
So, I can't press that enough. We're all gonna make mistakes, right? I probably made 3 today at least, I don't care if you guys make mistakes, that's how we learn, right? I just need you guys to own up to those mistakes and fix it and then learn from it, right? If you can't learn from it, then that's when we have the problems. So I know you've heard that all week, but I do wanna press again, that is very true. I mean, if you make a mistake here, if you just own it, learn from it, and fix it, we're okay. I'm not gonna hold it over your head, we're gonna move on from it. And I know we're all gonna be better for it. Now, if you start making that same mistake over and over again, then we might have a different conversation.
Yeah.
But it's okay to make mistakes here. Just try to avoid the big mistakes. That's all I ask. Every month, we have a different focus from our safety division. Now, of course, safety is always our #1 focus with anything that we do. likes to put a little bit of focus every month on something different. This week's focus is fatigued driving. And then of course she gives a couple of examples on how to be a safe driver. So, you know, these are things that we've all heard 100 times, but it's always good to be reminded of. Of course, buckle up, you know, save your life. Prepare for the drive, you know, adjust your mirrors, lighting, program that GPS before you start driving. You don't want to be distracted while you're driving. Drive safely, meaning obey the speed limits, you know, follow traffic signs, etc. Avoid distractions. To me, that can be that is a really big one, right? And it happens so fast. You know, you could be just driving, take a drink of your water, and drop the cap. Reach down, take your eyes off the road for just a second. All it takes is a second.
Right, our driver's not even sick.
Take a drink of your water, it spills on you, catches you off guard for just a second. You know, you're not supposed to touch your phones, right? Do not look at your phone. That's an automatic. But that phone rings, distraction. So I'm just saying, you know, keep those in mind, right? Do you really need to pick up that cap right now, or can it wait till you pull over? You know, spill water on yourself is just water. Always keep your eyes on the road, because a second is a long time in driving.
And the best way to go with the phone is to have a phone, Bluetooth, where you just push a button, you say, call mom.
Voice activated.
Exactly.
Yeah. So hands free is always the way to go, but you know, the important thing is all your attention needs to be on that road at all times.
Yeah, even just talking to somebody on the phone is an actual distraction. You know,
Yeah.
it takes a certain amount of your brain away from what's really going on, in my opinion.
Right. Next one is be aware of other drivers. You know, you can't control what that other driver's gonna do, but you can be aware of them, you can pay attention, and sometimes you can't predict, right? So always be aware, keep your distance the best you can. Never text or email while driving. That goes with distracted driving, right? Now, we text and email as a way of communication in this day and age, right? It is very common. I don't care if you email me. I just don't want you to do it while you're driving, okay? Please don't do it while you're driving. And even the voice activation one, you don't need to dictate while you're doing it, because there's still some distraction involved with that too.
Yes.
So if you want to email me or text me or anybody else in this company, make sure you're pulled over and you're not driving at all, okay? Avoid aggressive driving. We all know what that is, right? It's not worth it. I have been guilty of it a few times, you know, but it's not worth it, because in the grand scheme of things, it's really, we're talking seconds, right, where that aggression can come in, and maybe you lose a few seconds on your run. It's not worth it. So take a breath. If they're aggressive, let them do their thing. You avoid them, and you just keep going on, and you'll have a much better day. Only make safe and necessary lane changes. I don't think I need to go into that, do I? Don't tailgate. Pretty self-explanatory. Allow plenty of time. So to me, this is a big one, because allowing plenty of time has a lot to do with trip planning. And I think trip planning is one of the most important things a truck driver can do, right? Outside of maybe safety being number one, definitely being number one. But I think trip planning is huge, because if you don't know where you're going and what time you're supposed to be there, you're not going to be a successful truck driver, right? So always allow plenty of time to get to where you're going. I think somebody said it earlier, but you know, if you have a lot of time on the load and you know you're going to get there really early, well, just get there and then take your time. Right?
Sometimes they'll let you deliver early too.
And sometimes that'll happen, and that's a bonus for everybody. So, but that's not going to happen if you don't get there right away, right?
But
So-
part of that trip plan is, you know you're gonna be there early,
Call
and
them.
you know that you planned your trip out just right, just call your dispatcher, tell your dispatcher, they'll send them an email, or even
Mhm.
call them to try to get your time changed.
Yeah, it doesn't happen every time, but it won't happen unless you do that, right?
Occasionally.
Never drive under the influence, right? I hope I don't have to say that out loud, but never drive under the influence. Get enough sleep. You know, that's easier said than done, but it is important. Sleep is important. You do have to take a 10-hour break, which should be plenty of time to get enough sleep in.
got one on each side of you, it's actually calmer.
If it's continuous, you don't want
Yes.
one being like
That's
start
not
stop.
all
Yeah.
natural. Yeah.
But yeah, so just make sure you put yourself in a position where you can get some good sleep, because sleep is very important. You don't want to be fatigued while you're driving. And then don't multitask behind the wheel. I think that also falls under the category of distracted driving, sure. Also with trip planning though, because if you don't do a proper trip plan and you're like almost your destination, but you don't know where to turn, and you start plugging in your GPS and you're looking at a map, and you know it is distracted driving. You don't need to do that multitask. Just focus on one thing at a time, because there's really no such thing as a successful multitasking. Because if you're multitasking, nothing gets 100% of your attention. Right?
Nothing.
So, anyway, just some tips to keep in mind from our safety manager that I wanted to pass on to you. We would probably have this poster hanging up right there. That's not the same one.
That's the monthly poster. That's
but
her weekly.
This is her weekly one? Okay. Thank you for that correction. This is a weekly, not a monthly update. So anyway, just a weekly update from the safety manager that I just want to pass along, because I think, like I said earlier, safety is always our number one focus. It's always good to talk about it, even though I know we hear it all the time. But I think that's one thing that we can continue to always talk about is safety, right? Does anybody have any other safety points that they would like to talk about?
Just good to remember that, you know, you're not just being safe for yourself, you're being safe for every single person you pass along the road.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I do. When you're going down the highway, our trucks only do 65. You got another truck that's coming up beside you that does 65.22222, okay? He's barely going faster than you, barely.
Don't
You
drag
see
it.
him coming up on you like that, and all of a sudden you look in that mirror and you see a whole bunch of other people starting to back up behind him,
Let them by.
just let him by. Just ease off of it, let him by.
And have anything, just reach up and knock a couple of miles an hour off your cruise control and let him go.
Yeah, just let him go. It's
Or-
not, it's not
It's
worth it.
not
I
worth
mean,
it.
I've seen so many things out there and so many people get upset. I mean, I'm a big, I get pissed off about it because it doesn't make any sense. If I'm getting in that left lane and I'm going past somebody and I know they go faster than me, but maybe we're pulling a hill and I'm going a little bit faster than them, if I can't pass them, I stay behind them.
Yeah.
I just stay behind them. I'm not gonna chance hurting myself,
You're not
my
gonna let
wife
10
who's
trucks
raising my
line up
wife,
behind you
or
while
even
you're
killing
trying to do it
somebody
for
else.
4 miles.
You know what I mean? Because of what do you say, 1 second, 2 second thought.
I just
You know what
stay
mean?
behind
Just
them.
let it go. Just let it be, because you're gonna see a lot of people that are out here. I'm not gonna name any cultures or anything out here, but all of us know. They don't pay attention. Okay? They don't care. And they don't care. To you, you're dirt beneath their feet. Okay?
Mhm.
And they are gonna run you off the road. So let them go.
So does anybody have any, yes, Dave?
I just want to touch on, I mean, just, you know, yeah, safety is number one, it always is, and always will be. But it's not just in the truck. Okay, you're gonna be going to docks, you're going to be docks, you've got glass you're gonna deal with, you've got forklifts and machinery. Those are just as dangerous, you know, I mean, you've gotta have your head on a swivel, you've gotta make sure that you're being seen wearing your PPE. That's very important, just as much as it is getting behind the wheel of that truck every day.
Mhm.
You know, we don't hear a lot of them because we're not actually in that industry, but I can promise you, being a former warehouse worker, their accidents are just as common and just as bad as driving a truck.
Sometimes worse.
And worse. So please, guys and ladies, make sure when you're out there that you're keeping your head on a swivel, man, and watching and making sure that you're being safe and people around you are being safe, so you don't get hurt or somebody else gets hurt.
In Blackwell, if you guys are ever pulling in Blackwell, whether you're doing reapers or you're doing box trucks, when you're pulling away from those doors, don't just take off, ease out. And the reason behind that is for their safety and ours too. Because you never know, even though the ramp might be up or the ramp might not, because there's some places that we go that they let us pull out and the ramp drops. You see what I mean? It's one of those hand crank ramps.
And a good rule.
So the good thing about that is just go slow.
Yeah, and a good rule for that is, you know, if the door is shut, you know, but still it's always a good idea to walk back there and pinch that shit open a little so you can make sure there ain't nobody in there, you know. It takes a minute and a half to do that.
Any other questions or comments before we wrap up?
I do.
Yes.
So I've got it this time of year, every week I like to talk about it. Hydrate consciously.
Oh, yes.
Drink water. If you're not thirsty, I don't care, still grab a drink. Get dry and it's detrimental to your health.
Does Fresno still have Gatorade water and everything like
I
that?
believe they do.
So when you're in Fresno in 2 weeks, make sure you stay hydrated down there because it is a lot warmer down there. But they do supply the drinks. All right. Well, last thing I want to say is thank you to everybody. Thank you for choosing the profession that you did. We need truck drivers in this world, and without you guys, you know, I don't
Maybe
have
for
to
the
say
wrong
it.
country.
I don't have to say it, right? But we would not have the things that we have on our tables and our closets without the dedication of our drivers. So I really appreciate you guys being here with us, but not only with us, but choosing the path that you chose in this industry. So thank you.
Yep, thank you.
With that being said, I hope everybody has a great night, and thank you for joining.
Also, I have a